and welcome to a beautiful day here on the Neoprene as we start match 2, game 1 of the Gideon Trials. This is a big game for me because we are playing for the first time ever in the foil cube.
Yep, and what a beautiful day it is for such an event. It is shiny, it is powerful, and it is quick. I love playing this cube that you designed here, EXO, and it's an honor and a privilege here to bring it here today to the folks at home.
Yep, thanks for being here and watching it with us, guys. Let's see what you wake up with here, LTD.
Yeah. Getting Vana right off the bat. Really like her as a 5-mana multicolor vampire. Some land.
Yep.
Go ahead and keep that one.
Yep, I saw some silver bordered cards in there, and for the folks at home, there is a Lore Seeker hidden in the foil cube, and if you draft that Lore Seeker, you're able to draft one pack of an unhinged pack that also includes playtest cards and stuff like that. So that's how these playtest cards and these unhinged cards are getting pulled into the foil space.
Yeah, I mean, I would just call it a joker. I mean, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and go back and watch our how-to cube video. But basically, in the foil cube, there's like this joker in there called a lore seeker, and if you pull it, you reveal it, and then you add a pack to the draft. And in EXO's wisdom here, he's decided to add a silver border only pack, and it's crazy and it's fun and I love the way it gets these cards onto the neoprene. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just a really fun way to give cards homes that don't normally see play, especially competitive play on the neoprene. But there's a lot of good design hidden in those unhinged cards, so it's fun to see what they're capable of and put them in a competitive environment.
Yeah, I mean, just think of like any random push card that's been printed lately. It probably is basically word for word some silver border card from yesteryear.
Yeah, one thing that I like seeing is the playtest cards. There's starting to be legit mechanics that are being printed, like Cleave, for example, that just came out in the most recent Innistrad set. The first time they played around with that idea was in a card from a playtest card that it was in the Lore Seeker pack. So now there's a legitimate mechanic and cards that I could pull into the foil space if I wanted. But it's just cool that that idea was there first in these playtest cards.
Yep. And you're just amassing a tiny army over there.
Yeah, so I just have a bunch of Phyrexian power over on my side of the neoprene, starting with a Blade Splicer, and then following that up with a Skin Render to take down the Mire Triton. So a lot of power, a lot of Phyrexian power, and it looks good.
Yeah. It's high speed, low drag, nice and cheap. Yep. Definitely feeling it on the right side of the table.
Yep, definitely. It's still a close game, 19-18. Here at home for me in the foil cube. That Wasteland coming down is kind of dangerous with those two nice dual lands. You can take me off of my blue source if you wanted,
yeah,
which
you got
could
a
be
couple.
pretty powerful.
You got at least one decent target there, but I mean, I don't know. I'll probably just keep it for my own self at this point in the game so far.
Yeah.
But Wasteland is one of those cool cards that does bridge the gap between the foil and the ancient cube. We always like to point that out.
Yep, love those cards. Deciding to makeshift Mannequin the Mire Triton here just to heal yourself back up to 20 and get another Death Touch blocker onto the battlefield. So, pretty good play.
Yeah, only card I like in foil better than Mire Triton is, I think, Deadly Recluse. So, very powerful, cheap cards that really shine, I think, in the 40-card format.
Yep, definitely. And I just love the art on Mire Triton. I believe that's a Seb McKinnon. He's one of my all-time favorite Magic artists, and just everything he makes is good. So I try to find ways to pull those cards in. Mire Triton, of course, is also a good design, but it's also nice when that good design is stapled to some amazing art.
Yeah, it's a bonus. We love that. We like cardboard in their entirety,
yes.
Not just one aspect of it.
Yep, I just recently went through correctness updates, is what I called it for my cube.
A what update?
A correctness update.
Wow, I like
where,
that.
like, in addition to power considerations, I was picking cards that had flavor text and good art as a priority. So that's just kind of the stuff you do when you're designing a cube.
Nice. And you also like to do things that are just kind of flavorfully cool. Like I just pulled this Invoke the Divine, which, Demonic Embrace is the target for it, but unfortunately you can just get that Demonic Embrace back from the grave by like paying 3 life and discarding a card, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool interaction there.
Yeah.
At least I do get my life, but not really the effect that I was hoping for.
Yeah, you do have a lot of like incidental life gain in this deck that you've built, and you're really just padding your life total. Even though I've been pretty aggressive, you're still up high with that 17 life. But I do love how Invoke the Divine just can't really hit Demonic Embrace, and just how flavorful that is. But it can hit the Golem, which is nice. So just taking that Golem off the battlefield is still pretty good.
Yeah, my next best option. Had to do it.
Yep. So I have a four power demon human on the battlefield, and I'm just gonna crunch you with it.
Yeah.
Um,
But 4 power is just enough to hit it with my Selesnya charm, so that's kind of nice.
I think you need 5 power on a Selesnya charm.
Oh, well, there's the problem.
Selesnya charm misses that one, I think, unfortunately.
Dang it.
Like Selesnya charm is an interesting removal spell because you can make that 2/2 body and block, so it can kill stuff with like 2 toughness or less, and then it can exile creatures with 5 power or more. So it's like this weird, interesting window of interaction on Selesnya charm. There's a double take, so that's one of the silver border cards that I drafted. I really like that double cycle in Cube, especially in the format that we play with the matches. So I get to draw 2 cards now, and at the next game, I also get to draw 2 cards. So it's a pretty powerful effect that will carry me through the first couple games of the Gideon Trials. So
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of silver today, but hey, that's fine. And it's not something that is easy to make its way into the actual matches. I mean, it does. There's really only one way to get there, right? With that,
yep.
yeah. So I mean, just the lore seeker can make it happen, but we happen to hit it here for this match today.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a real variable when you're playing, especially with those cards you have in there that have an effect this game and the next game.
Right.
But in terms of our tournament structure, I really kind of like that. It kind of reminds me of like a reality TV show. If you win this challenge, then you get an advantage in the next challenge or something like that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, show me another card printed in black border, silver border, whatever. Like that's a pretty rare effect, and then you also have to be playing in a format like what we're playing here through the design of the Gideon Trials for a card like that to actually be impactful.
Yeah. So basically, if Ancient ends at everything, printed before the year 2000, which is Urza's block, right? So Urza's Flask is the last one that's eligible for Ancient. You go ahead and pick it up right there, right? Because that's when foil was introduced.
Yeah. Yeah. For the first foil, it's Urza's Legacy. That was the first set to have foils. I believe that set was printed in 1999 or 2000, definitely.
99.
Yeah, so so that my restriction of the foil cube is the cards must be foiled. This does bar me from some cards, like some commander specific cards that only have non-foil printings or anything printed prior to that Urza's set where foils were first introduced. But that's exactly where the Ancient Cube exists. So we get to see those cards in action in the Ancient space, and then everything beyond that we can see here in the foil space. So
basically, there is nothing printed in MTG that is not going to be able to work its way into our cubes.
Yeah, across both the foil and the Ancient Cube, and I just love that from a content and design perspective.
Absolutely. But what I don't love is how my Vana is not doing her job and vigilantly gaining me life as I am here at 2 and getting beat to death by a flying demon.
Yeah, the aggressive start I had is certainly having an impact here now, keeping Vana off of the 6 life required to do the activation. So even with the life swing here that I imagine you will get, with the Vana this turn, it's not going to be enough to activate it. So another thing that I'm seeing that's kind of painful is the 1 green in your hand, where every card in your hand, pretty much other than that Selesnya charm, requires 2 green.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really working out for me here, but I mean, you really have an explosive start with a card like Blade Splicer coming out on curve, Skin Renderer with its nice target also on curve, and I am sitting there with an empty board and less than half my life up. So you really got me in the early game here. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But there is my Selesnya charm finally hitting something with power 5 or greater.
Yep. Yep, that's a really good answer for my demon zombie there. Midnight Reaper, because I don't get to draw a card on death, but I did make it to the magic number of 8, which allows me to cast Summon the Pack.
Yikes. That's pretty much the worst card you could ever cast for 8 as far as I know, because you're going to just go ahead and open up an entire booster pack and gain control of all the creatures.
Yep, and those creatures become zombies in addition to the other types. So if that is somehow relevant, which it can be in the foil space, but yeah, this is definitely a powerful card coming out of the Lore Seeker cube. My rare was a Bioessence Hydra. Not worth a whole lot, 35 cents, but it's a 4/4, so it'll make a pretty big impact on this battlefield. And another really cool pull is that Gideon's Triumph.
Yeah, can't get a better flavor win than that because we're here in the first foil match of the Gideon Trials. But yeah, very cool.
Yep. Yep. Pretty cool getting that Gideon's Triumph in the first match of the Gideon Trials in the foil cube. We couldn't have planned that better if we tried. Coming out of a sealed booster and just being a flavor win.
They're like that. Very interesting stuff going on in Cube World over here.
Yeah, welcome to the foil cube. It's really showing itself off today here in the first foil cube ever. Got silver border cards, got to open a pack. So Vaughn is up against a zombie army. Probably not what he was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, she may be used to taking down, armies to conquest, and she's been doing it for hundreds of years. But this might be the year that she fails to bring it home for the dub because this is overwhelming, and I don't have any kind of answer in hand.
Yep, and you're still at that magic life total of 6. Not scared though, swinging in. I'm gonna trade it with the Bioessence Hydra just because I can't risk you activating. So we would go up to 10, and then you could activate and kill one of my creatures. I just didn't want to risk that. But I have enough power on board, even with the Vana life gain there, so we're gonna call it. Good game, man.
Yep, absolutely. No surprise there, dropping a summon the pack. Super good opening to the foil cube. We'll see you in the next one.
Yep, see you in the next one.